Hello and welcome back to the Stronghold. I'm the Magi, and the Stronghold is so much more than just a YouTube channel. But make no mistake about it, unlike Gandalf, I am in fact a conjurer of cheap tricks. Because be it decks for any format, set reviews, or economy hacks, budget is what we do here. Because at the end of the day, whether it's free-to-play resources, cold hard cash, or just time, we're all limited in some way, and that makes us all budget players. So please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, and share across all of our many platforms, and that will allow us to be stronger together as a community. Hey guys, as we get started with this budget perspective, let me get you to lean in real close. I got a secret for you. It turns out higher rarity cards are good. Okay, I admit that's not much of a secret. And that's exactly why I'm not going to spend our time talking about all the good rares and mythics. There are plenty of other content creators willing to do that. And since I know that a budget player following our plan is only about 70% likely to have any given rare and only about 50% likely to have any given mythic, with the actual playset statistics going even further down than that very rapidly, I'm just not going to spend our time that way. Instead, I'm gonna turn our magnifying glass towards those commons and uncommons because, those are cards you're going to have, and I want you to be able to get the most bang for your buck. The primary reason behind all of the questions is because Lord of the Rings is an alchemy set, which means it will have no impact and is not legal in Standard, Explorer, and Brawl. Of course, Alchemy, it'll see about 15 months worth of play, making it the shortest lived set in rotation, barring any changes to formats, but I think they're done with that for the moment. Of course, this also means that it is legal in Historic and Historic Brawl for perpetuity. And the mainstay of the questions that I'm seeing is a lot of people aren't interested in alchemy as a format, and thus they're wondering about the value of this set, and more specifically, the value of the Mastery Pass for folks that aren't interested in alchemy. Hey guys, quick aside, sorry if this messes with the flow of the video. I left this out and had to recut it to insert it. It turns out that there is in fact a backdoor to Mordor of sorts. The Lord of the Rings set does have a starter kit featuring 2 decks. Each of those decks is going to have 1 foil mythic rare and 4 rares. It also comes with some deck boxes and explanations and things like that. More importantly for us arena players, it also comes with 2 codes to unlock both decks on your arena account. So you could easily use one and cover the second one with your friend. This is retailing right now on Amazon for $20 for the effectively 10 rare mythic cards, and really that's not a great deal in and of itself. I always try and support my friendly local game store, but I found that they are pre-selling this for $22.50. I would also expect that this is going to be available at Target and Walmart, although I could find no indication of what price that will be. But my experience is you can usually pick these up at Walmart about a year after release for about half the price. Just things to keep in mind. And just to get this out of the way, if you are in that apparent minority and you are interested in alchemy and everything that this set has to offer, the Mastery Pass, like every other season, represents a tremendous value. And while some of the details change, the value really doesn't. It's still the best way to get almost 200% return on investment. That having been said, the remainder of this video is going to be for the benefit and perspective of those that are not interested in alchemy. Now, because this set is alchemy based and is not expected to affect the upcoming new player experience decks for 2024, there is absolutely no reason to hold your Lord of the Rings packs. You're going to want to open those and start enjoying the cards at whatever level you choose as soon as possible. In fact, the midweek Magic scheduled for July 4th through the 6th gives us an incentive to do just that, because with any luck, we should be able to build a deck without doing any sort of grinding for this set. All right, so let's kick those set-specific mechanics. The core mechanic of this set is the ring, and really how this set ultimately gets remembered is going to be defined by this mechanic. If it's good, this is going to have a lasting impact on its legal formats forever. And well, if it flops, not only is it probably going to ruin the limited environment, it probably is going to make this the butt of jokes for years and years to come. The idea here is that certain cards will instruct you that the ring tempts you, in which case you get an icon of the ring and you designate a creature that you control as your ring bearer. That ring bearer gains a number of different mechanical attributes, starting by making it legendary and unblockable by creatures with greater power. This is an absolutely groundbreaking mechanic. It's really, like I said, going to define the limited environment for this set, and I think it's pretty good. I really think that particularly in limited, you want to be tempting yourself with the ring, and you want to have a ring bearer pretty much all the time. As it develops, you get card advantage and yada yada yada. It's just really quite good. One of the legacies of this set is it has changed Pauper forever. The functionality of being tempted by the ring and getting the ring attribute now means that there are going to be legendary creatures in Pauper, because there really hasn't been any legendary creatures printed at common level since the debacle that was the Chronicles reprints. But now any creature can be made legendary by making it your ring bearer. And well, there's a lot of ways to be tempted by the ring at various commonalities, not the least of which is common. And believe it or not, even on Arena, there's already a number of commons available that care about legendary creatures. They just don't see any play because up to this point there hasn't been any common legendary creatures available on Arena. The other cornerstone mechanic is Amass Orcs. It's going to present a number. When it triggers, you either add that many +1/+1 counters to an existing orc army, or you create a 0/0 orc army token and put the counters on it. This one is almost diametrically opposed to the other cornerstone mechanic that we just talked about, the ring. The more Amass Orcs you see in your color pool, and that's mostly going to be in red, blue, and black, the harder it is to be tempted by the ring. I'm not saying one is necessarily better than the other, but you're not going to see a huge amount of overlap, so don't be concerned there. Returning mechanic for this set are food tokens. They're pretty darn good, and you're going to see them mostly in green and white associated with hobbits. No big surprise there. This is a resource you want to build up in your early game to help you extend the game for the win later on. As you can see in the Eternal formats, the food mechanic mostly shows up in the black and green portions of the color pies, so there is a limited amount of potential here for food to add to existing historic decks or draw upon previous Eternal cards in order to make those alchemy or historic decks better. There is really just a little bit of food in white. And, well, to be frank, at lower rarities, those cards aren't particularly good. There's also a couple of very good colorless cards in Ginger Brute and Witch's Oven, although the Cat Oven combo does get a bit of a bad reputation. And I'm not sure what the current status is on that in the various formats. So definitely check on that before making your card selections. Another really good idea that we're seeing reoccurring in this set is the idea of common, mostly creatures that have large board value, high mana cost, but also feature a land cycle. Definitely look into these. They're almost always worth running one or two depending upon your color combinations, and actually can help you enable splashes to some degree. Even if you don't love the particular card, you can almost think of it as a land of the particular type. Historically, it is cited as, well, kind of sadly, one of the returning mechanics of this set. And I say sadly because it's almost not present. It makes your artifacts, sagas, and legendary cards more relevant, but it's almost not used in the set. In fact, I dare say there's only one card in the entire set that uses it to any relevance, so don't worry about it. This also brings up the point sagas have returned in this. There are two in every color combination, or in every color. There is an uncommon and a rare in each of the 5 primary colors, but there's only one card in the entire set that cares about sagas as a concept, and it's a mythic, so probably don't need to worry about that. What this set really does care about is legendaries, particularly legendary creatures, and it has them by the dozens. And they're from uncommons and, of course, rares and mythics. 2 color combinations are out there quite a lot, and as you can see, there are 4 that make use of 3 or more colors. So splashing is going to be very important, particularly for these legendary creatures. It's not going to be unusual for you to want to splash a 3rd or possibly even 4th color in your deck. Let's talk about tribes for just a minute, because humans, soldiers, and knights are pretty much everywhere in this set. I think we all know how much of an impact soldiers and humans have had in pretty much every format, whether you're playing Alchemy, Standard, Explorer, Historic, and even the Brawl formats. Knights, more recently, have seen a big upswing, and this only adds to that conversation. And there is just a rainbow of knights and knight-related cards in the Eternal formats, so definitely keep that in mind moving forward, because of course Lord of the Rings here contributes directly to historic play from day one. Knights as a tribal theme really hit the scene with the introduction of March of the Machines. The next upcoming set to be released for Standard for fall 2023 is going to be Wilds of Eldraine, a plane which typically has a significant Knight sub-theme. And in fact, some of the preview art we have pretty strongly telegraphs that. And let's not forget the events of March of the Machine made Zhalfir a plane in its own right. And my guess is one of the next 4 sets to be announced will be a full-on visit to Teferi's home plane. I think this all sums up to make a very strong case that the blue-white new player experience deck for 2024 will make use of Knight Tribal, if not it being its full focus. Those of you who have been around Arena for a little while, like I have, may remember the new Player Experience deck Company of Knights from the class of 2021. Of course, you may also remember it as the deck that gave you your first Embercleave. Even if you haven't been around that long, you might want to take a look at the red-white Knight Lord card, Inspiring Veteran, because it lines up so nicely with the mostly red-white nature of the Knights in Lord of the Rings. One word of caution, Tournament Grounds used to be the Knight tribal land of choice back in the day. Now I would skip that entirely and instead look at Secluded Courtyard from the recent standard Kamigawa set. Obviously, it's more budget friendly since it is currently available in standard, and it's better aligned with the multicolor nature that Knights have become on Arena. While we're talking about lands, this set gives us budget players a lot of good ones. Particularly if you are a historic brawl player, you are going to be using these for years to come. And while I said I wasn't really going to talk about rares, the rare lands in this set are almost categorically Commander/historic brawl staples. So feel blessed if you happen to get any of those. And those are probably some of the highest considerations for wildcard use out of this set. And as we turn our attention more towards individual cards from the set, I really don't know how we could have expected anything more from Shadowfax, answering Gandalf's call to show us the meaning of haste. Yes, as a content creator, I was contractually obligated to make that joke. Moving on. Strider, Ranger of the North at Uncommon is one of the more unique cards in the set. Not only is it good, but it's one of only 2 cards I could find that mention the Landfall mechanic, making it just as relevant as Historic. Historic got listed as a mechanic for the set, Landfall didn't, but oh well. Another blast from the past, the new Player Experience deck, Savage Lands from 2022, was the red-green deck from that year, and as I recall, it was one of the better decks from that year, and was all about the Landfall mechanic. If we get any kind of historic artisan event this season, Strider here is probably where I'm going to go with it. If we don't, I'll probably never mention it again, but it might be something that you want to look into, particularly if you have that Savage Lands deck, or the cards from it still in your collection. Moving on to something more recent, Lord of the Rings gives us Shire Scarecrow, which addresses an important hole in the deck, particularly at the 2-drop slot. This 0/3 Defender gives us a mana fixing ability, and as I said, kind of fills that gap at the 2 mana slot. Its overall color fixing nature may allow us to take this already pretty good deck and make it more resilient by creating a more one-of Silver Bullet Toolbox style deck. This deck already gets kind of silly when you add in the blink effects that we talked about in a recent midweek Magic event, blinking your Search Sentinels and your signature Chaplains to ridiculous effects. And for those of you who enjoy driving with your Pauper blinker on, this set gave us several new toys, including a very nice card draw engine, a go wide 4 mana 3/3 creature that gives a 1/1 token, and a brand new blink option in Slip on the Ring. A lot to blink about. And if you thought I was done with cheesy puns, I say no way, because now we're getting to the combo section. So cheesy does it. To start off the conversation, let's talk about Rally of the Horde and the Lord of Westfold. You can assemble this combo pretty easily in Limited, and I think it might even have legs. in constructed play as well, because it turns out 11 attacking power out of nowhere is pretty darn good. Are these cheesy puns going to continue? You cheddar believe it. Talk about Tale of, I know I'm going to mispronounce this, Tinvale. This saga on Chapter 2 allows you to resurrect a creature from your graveyard directly onto the battlefield. If only we had a reliable way of putting a creature early game into the graveyard that we would want to resurrect. Like, oh, I don't know, land cycling. This works with any of the 4 common land cyclers. The blue one, of course, is a sorcery, so that's a no-go. But here I featured the white card, Eagles of the North. You might say this is the Tails Cheddar half. Anyway, moving right along, this will allow you to put this directly into play. This particular one also has an ETB effect, pumping up your team, making it a really good combo. I don't think this one is going to see much play in Constructed. It's more of a limited possibility, but don't let yourself be blue. How dare you not like these puns? If you do like alchemy though, and this is just any other set for you, the standard budget is really where you want to be. Somewhere in the 5 to 7 jump-in events, 3 to 9 draft events, so you can buy the Mastery Pass, a purchase of 45 pack bundle, along with any discounted packs that we might get offered for this set, is going to give you a very solid foothold for this set and put you right on budget. If, however, like me, you plan to set this set out mostly, just continuing with your daily play goals for the 78 days of this set will give you approximately 82,000 gold to carry into next budget year. And there's a lot we're going to be doing with that. And as we wrap up this budget perspective, our next big video for the Lord of the Rings set will be discussing the expected refresh of the jump-in events for the 2024 season. You're not going to want to miss out on that, even if you don't plan on playing Alchemy or Lord of the Rings, because that is going to have impact for all of the next budget year. And folks, before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on a thing. Because I know I can't change the magic economy all by myself, but I think we can.